Okay, so this is my 10 gallon, and I'm just gonna go through all my uh, fish tanks and ecospheres in this video. But this is my 10 gallon. I set it up about a year and not a half ago, like 2 months ago, year and 2 months, and it's got some Rotella in there. I don't know what type, or I think it's a Rotella. See, the new growth is looking healthier than the old growth. Don't look at the old growth. I neglected this thing for a little while, but then there's that Vallisneria, Nubius Nana Petite, the moss ball, which I don't know why the light in this is so bad. I'm gonna try. And then there's some frogbit and duckweed up at the top. And right now the only inhabitants are these ram's horn snails. And then you also got one nearite in there who usually burrows under the gravel during the daytime. And then also there's these little white worms, which I'm not gonna be able to get on this camera. I've tried multiple times, but you got these little white worms that are in there, which I don't know what they are exactly. I don't feel like they're that bad. I mean, I don't know. I'm probably gonna look into it and try and figure it out. I haven't done that much research yet. But then you also got this 5 gallon down here, which this also doesn't have any inhabitants. Well, I mean, except for there's this one nearite snail, and then I also have Malaysian trumpet snails in here. And you got this Nubius Nana Petite, and then I just threw some of the excess frog bit in there. Again, the lights are, I don't know, I'm not going to be able to do much about the lights. I don't know how I'd fix that. But anyways, you got this frog bit in there that's just excess that I threw in from the top, which I still need to clear out the 10 gallon, sorry, I'll try and keep it on there, clear out the 10 gallon more of a frog bit, which, I don't know, I'll probably just have to end up throwing it away, which I hate to do, but I don't have anywhere else to put it. So anyways, then we move over here, and I know my thing's a mess, but you got this this little container, which this has some tadpoles in it from I actually have this, well, it's more of a retention pond, but this pond on our property, and you got 8 tadpoles in here. There used to be 10, but I think the other 2 got either outcompeted or eaten or something. And then you got some moss in here. You got some these are bladder snails in here, and there's also some copepods flying around that will probably get eaten once the tadpoles grow up. But then crap, everything's so just spread out just because this isn't really meant for anything. Don't look at the background. I don't know, nobody else knows like where we got that wolf picture from, but we just left it. Like, me and my sister and my brother were all like, where did this even come from? But anyways, you got this little thing, which back before I became knowledgeable, I used to have a bed in this, which I regret now. That was like 5 years ago when I was 13. You know, I didn't know anything, and my brother actually housed the bed in this before me, and he was 15 too at that time. Well, he's 10 years older than me, so 10 years ago or whatever. But anyways, so now I've definitely changed. But this just has some Java moss in it right now and some snails that was mostly to keep the bladder snail population up, because I was worried the ram's horn snails were going to outcompete them in this native tote that I have, which I'll show you in just a minute. Then I got a potato project that I'm doing. Then we got these ecospheres, which these 3 are like dead. Well, I mean, they're just growing algae pretty much. This I actually just started recently though. It was from a stream that popped up, and I just wanted to see what it might have in there, which surprisingly some plants in there, which I'm pretty sure those are terrestrial plants, but this was set up like about, which the light doesn't help, but this was set up about a month ago, and there's still plants growing in it, which is a little bit surprising to me, but I didn't figure there'd be any life in there, which there wasn't. But then this thing is, I don't know if it'll focus a little bit more, or, okay, well anyways, this is gonna suck, but this camera quality. But this has sea shrimp in it, which I'm actually starting a project, which I want to move them into a bigger container. As you can see, this is very small, and I want to get them like breeding, so maybe I can use them as fry food, because I want to start breeding some guppies at least. And also, I want to do a lot of stuff in the future, but that's a pipe dream for the moment. And then this is from the pond, So this is just like, I grabbed some water, grabbed some mud from that pond, and I threw it in here, and there's some cyclops in there, which again you're not going to be able to see, but they're doing all good. There's a pretty big population. I don't know, too many to count, and they're also too small and jutting around all over the place. This doesn't matter, it has nothing in it except for algae. This is an ecosphere that's been set up for about a year, which I'm going to try and make it better so that you can see it a little bit better. But you got that maidenhair fern, which I didn't put that in there intentionally, it just started growing from the dirt that I used from outside. And you got this moss, which now it's starting to die. Man, this is really bad video quality. Oh well. And then I got 2 more totes set up, which this is just some plants that I was up in Virginia a few weeks ago. So, these are just some plants that that I just took from some, one from a pond and another one from a swamp. And I was trying to grow them and see what would grow. As you can see, this grass one didn't work out that well, although it looks like it might have started to grow a little bit, and the rest of it just died off. But I got some snails in here that I also got from a stream. There was hundreds of snails in the stream, which is actually on my sister and brother-in-law's property. And then you got this, which came from the stem plant, which came from the swamp that are by their house. And some duckweed too, which this duckweed, it was red. So I thought that was interesting. I brought some home. Let's see. You got some more plants. This plant that was just unintentional. It just came with one those stem plants. I didn't mean to grab it. But, I'm glad that I have it because, more different types of plants is always better in my opinion. And, you got some snails in here. And ram's horn that snuck in. I think there might be another ram's horn that is in there too. And some more duckweed, which, again, I'm trying to see what that duckweed does. And then over here, you got this other one, which, again, I have a lot of stuff in totes because up until recently I wasn't working, and I'm only 18. Well, I'm not even 18 yet. I'm 17. Be 18 in a week or two. But this, I don't know. It doesn't have anything in it. Nothing has anything in it, which is the sucky part right now. And I was gonna start stocking it, but then coronavirus happened. Although I'm probably gonna order some stuff off the internet, but this just has that going. And for right now, it's mostly just growing plants. This plant I actually got from Myrtle Beach, and it was in brackish water. So I want to eventually set up a brackish water tank, and so that's why I have it right now. I'm keeping it. I'm gonna put it in that brackish water and see if it does well again. Which, I brought a huge clump of this home, and then 2 stems survived. So that's the acclimation process for you. And then this stuff I got from local here, and same with that. That's just a little, that's just a little snippet of stuff. And there's some Malaysian trumpet snails in here too. And then there's also a whole bunch of ram's horn and bladder snails too that are in here, which I don't want them to be in here. I just want Malaysian trumpets, but I'll get them out eventually. Let's see. Oh, I'm gonna make this into a gerarium, I guess is what you can call them. This is another failed, I thought because this moss that was in here was growing in a nearby stream, but I think it was actually terrestrial moss that just was in the stream. I don't think it actually, it's not actually aquatic moss. But, so that kind of failed in there, and you can see it's kind of done. I need to redo a lot of these. But these I just recently set up. This has a whole bunch of, oh wait, you might actually be able to see the copepods in here, or a cyclops, either one, whatever you want to call them. Maybe not. Okay, never mind. No, you won't. Well, maybe if I. Oh. Yeah, okay, you can see him jutting around just a little bit. But then I got some duckweed in there, and this is from the pond too, and so is this one. And see, this one has duckweed, this one doesn't. I was just seeing kind of a little bit of an experiment, it'll do better. And this one seems to be, well, I mean, it looks better. That's one plus. But, well, and also this one has less substrate though than that one. I don't know. I'm gonna have to come back to it. But then these are, so I was gonna do some seed shrimp, those seed shrimp that I said from earlier. I was gonna put those in here. I'm waiting for this to hopefully turn to green water. And same with this. Well, not same with this. I was gonna do copepods in this one. I got 2 pineapple plants growing in here. And then over here, okay, that's a little bit better. Now that we're out of the room with the dehumidifier and stuff going. But in here, you got a whole bunch of snails and a whole bunch of just plants that I got from around here. What was that? Interesting. There might be a diving beetle in there or something. But you got this, you know, parrot's tail or whatever you want to call it, and whatever that plant is. So if anybody knows what this plant is, let me know. More of that like terrestrial moss, which I mean it does technically grow in here, but it doesn't look great. So was trying to take it out. I took out the majority of it actually, and as you can see, some of it stayed in there and grew back. But yeah, so this is mostly just ram's horn snails in here, which as you can see, you know, there's a small bladder snail over there, which you can't. There we go. See, you can see it right there, right over here. Okay, right over here, my finger. But for the most part, the bladder snails took this thing over, which it used to be filled mostly with. I mean, for the most part, the ram's horn snails took it over, which it used to be mostly filled with bladder snails. So that's why I kind of transported and was trying to save some. Got some. I think this is interesting. I've noticed that there's like a small population of springtails in here. See right there, that white little dot right there, that's a springtail. And I don't know how they got in here for one, and I don't know how they've been surviving. Like, so that's interesting to me how they've been surviving, even though it's all water. Like must be eating like whatever dead plant material comes to the surface, and like they're able to float on the water. So I mean, guess that makes a little bit of sense. But I don't know, it's interesting to me. I don't know how they reproduce. This is some more of that stuff that was in the brackish water. I'm trying to right here, and yeah, I don't know. I'm just experimenting with a lot of stuff, a lot of different stuff. That's my main. That interests me is experimentation with a lot of stuff, and that's what I like to do. But then I got some, you know, I got some moss thing, because who doesn't like moss? I mean, I do. You know, you got this moss in here, and it's a lot greener in person. I don't know why this camera is so, like, it makes it look awful. It makes it look dead, but it's really green. And like same with everything else in this video too. You got some Anubis Nana Petite that I was trying to grow, and that was that brown stuff all over it is some nostoc or no stock or whatever it's called, or however you pronounce it at least. And I tried throwing that in here because I thought the Anubis Nana Petite was dead for a little bit, but then it came back. But yeah, and then like these plants in here, I didn't put those in there. They just sprouted from the dirt. All the moss I put in there to grow, and it's doing pretty good in there. And then same with this. There's nothing in these things under them. Why the? And then you got this in here. And I don't know what this is, but I really like it. I put some in the little like frog paludarium thing. I don't know if you guys remember that, but so there's this thing too, and I don't know, these are my two like little moss gardens, I guess. I was technically propagating moss just so I could have them for terrariums, but I haven't really done much with terrariums. But anyways, so that's my setup right now. This is our storage area, and I'm actually, I don't know, if it works out, I would love to be able to have like a fish room in here. And then if that gets going, I might do a little bit more of YouTube, but for right now it's just documenting the process. And if I do any major changes, I'm not showing my face right now, but if I do any major changes to my aquariums, I'll post them on YouTube, and that's about it. But anyways, I'm gonna go now, so see you guys.